U.S. new law, removal of conditions on marriage-based green cards. Imagine you've built a life in the U.S. through marriage, only to face uncertainty later. Will your green card be stripped away? Welcome to the world of conditional green cards, where love, law, and timing intersect. In 2025, the game has changed. Getting a green card through marriage may feel like a secured gateway to a stable life in the U.S. But for many couples, that security comes with a caveat: the conditional 2-year green card. To keep your status, you must file to remove conditions before that 2-year mark ends. In 2025, this process is under sharper scrutiny than ever. The volume of filings has doubled, processing times have stretched, and immigration authorities are digging deeper into proof of real marriage. In this video, Travel Tree News walks you through what this removal of conditions is. Removal of conditions on marriage-based green cards. What does it mean? Who's affected? Why the doubling of filings matters. The challenges couples face today. And practical tips to help you stay on track. Must watch the video with the mind to understand and grasp your requirement. If you get any question, do ask in the comments below, we will be happy to answer it. Let's dive in. 1. What is removal of conditions? Conditional permanent residence. When a foreign national marries a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, and at the time of receiving resident status the marriage is less than 2 years old, the green card granted is conditional. This means the immigrant is given lawful residence, but only for a 2-year period. This conditional status exists so that immigration authorities can later verify the legitimacy of the marriage, to guard against sham marriages used solely for immigration benefits. Removal of conditions on marriage-based green cards. What does it mean? If you received your green card through marriage to a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, and you were married for less than 2 years at the time of approval, you didn't get a full 10-year green card, you got a conditional green card valid for only 2 years. The removal of conditions is the process you must go through to prove that your marriage is real, not just for immigration purposes, and to request a permanent 10-year green card. So in short, removal of conditions means proving that your marriage is real and applying to turn your temporary 2-year green card into a full 10-year one. It's a crucial step in your immigration journey, and missing it can have serious consequences. Removing the conditions, Form I-751. To convert that conditional status into a full permanent resident status, 10-year green card, the couple must file Form I-751, petition to remove conditions on residence, jointly, within the 90-day window before the 2-year conditional card expires. If approved, the foreign spouse becomes a lawful permanent resident without conditions. If denied or filed late without valid reason, the conditional status may be terminated, and removal, deportation, proceedings may follow. There are exceptions, waivers, to filing jointly, for example. If the U.S. spouse died. If the couple divorced but the marriage was entered in good faith. If the foreign spouse was abused or subjected to cruelty. Or if removal would cause extreme hardship. 2. Who is affected and what are the effects? Who must do this? Anyone who received a conditional green card through marriage, i.e. married less than 2 years at the time of approval. Their children who became conditional residents at the same time or within 90 days can be included. In case of divorce, abuse, or death of the spouse, the foreign spouse may apply individually under a waiver. Key effects and risks. Expiration of conditional card. If the conditions are not removed in time, the green card expires. Loss of status and possible deportation. Failure to file timely may lead to issuance of a notice to appear, removal proceedings. Extended waiting. Even while the removal petition is pending, status is extended. Recent policy extends validity by 48 months. Increased scrutiny and requests for more evidence, because marriage legitimacy is closely examined. Delay in work and travel authorizations. Applicants may have to wait longer for employment authorization documents, EAD, or advance parole, travel permits. 3. 2025 trends and challenges. Doubling of filings. In the first quarter of FY 2025, USCIS data showed a doubling of filings for removal of conditions on marriage-based green cards. This surge reflects both more people reaching that 2-year mark and possibly applicants accelerating to avoid delays. This creates several pressures: backlogs, resource strain, longer adjudication times, and more intense scrutiny across all cases. Increases in processing times. Couples report that I-751 petitions are taking more than 2 years to resolve. Some cases are taking up to 4 years. When you file I-751, your expired conditional card is automatically extended for 48 months, giving breathing room. Heightened scrutiny. USCIS in 2025 is more vigilant than ever. They are demanding more supporting documents, more evidence of a bona fide marriage, detailed joint financials, photos, communication logs, affidavits, and deeper investigation into inconsistencies. Even if your I-130, or underlying petition, is approved, USCIS may still place you in removal proceedings if they believe the marriage is not genuine. Policy and form changes. USCIS now requires the latest editions of forms. Using outdated versions may lead to outright rejection. More waiver criteria and evidence standards have become stricter. Interviews are now more commonly required, even for removal of conditions cases. Financial hardships and low-income couples. Couples with limited income or assets suffer more. Strict financial scrutiny means borderline incomes may require joint sponsors or stronger evidence to satisfy USCIS. Stress, uncertainty and life interruptions. Many couples are caught in limbo. Some share stories like processing time over 2 years, still no answer. I've filed, the 48-month extension helps, but I worry about travel or job change. Not knowing when your status will be stabilized can disrupt life decisions, work, travel, housing, or family planning. 4. Tips and best practices. Now, if you're going through the process of removing conditions on your marriage-based green card, listen closely, because these next few tips could save you a lot of stress, time, and even protect your legal status in the U.S. Let's break down the most important best practices couples need to follow, step by step, based on the real challenges people are facing in 2025. First up, file on time. You only have a 90-day window before your conditional green card expires to submit your I-751 form. If you miss it, your status could be terminated, and yes, that could lead to removal proceedings. So, mark your calendar and don't leave it to the last minute. Next, always use the latest form versions. Download the most current form directly from the USCIS website. Don't use old versions, don't mix form pages, and avoid filling it out through random sites. Small mistakes here could get your petition rejected or delayed. Now, let's talk about your evidence. You need a strong, well-organized package that proves your marriage is real. That means joint bank statements, a shared lease or mortgage, tax returns filed together, photos of you both over time, travel records, messages, and affidavits from friends or family. Show that your life is truly shared. If there are any inconsistencies, explain them. Maybe you lived apart for work or had a gap in shared finances. That's okay, as long as you explain it in a short letter. The key is to be honest and proactive. This helps prevent red flags from being misunderstood. If you get an RFE or a NOID, respond carefully. These are requests for more evidence or notifications of intent to deny. Take them seriously. Respond clearly, truthfully, and submit everything within the deadline. A careless response here could cost you your status. And yes, interviews are becoming more common. So, prepare. Know your timeline, your shared routines, and daily life. USCIS will test for consistency, not just between your answers, but also against the evidence you submitted. Now, what if things didn't go smoothly in the marriage? If you're divorced, widowed, or experienced abuse, you may still file on your own. That's called a waiver, and it's there to protect people in difficult situations. Don't hesitate to use that option if it applies to you. When in doubt, get legal advice. Especially if your case involves waivers or unusual circumstances, a good immigration attorney can make all the difference. They'll help you spot weak areas before USCIS does. Keep an eye on USCIS processing times. Use their online tools to stay updated. Processing can take over 2 years in some cases, so adjust your expectations and don't panic if things move slowly, especially now that extensions go up to 48 months. 5. Why this matters, big picture. Safeguarding immigration integrity. USCIS uses this process to detect and deter fraud. Tightening the removal of conditions ensures that marriage-based green cards are legitimately earned. Impact on real couples. Genuine couples face rising hurdles. A small lapse in documentation or timing could upend a spouse's residency, even if they built a real life together. Strain on USCIS and backlogs. Doubling of filings means more cases to process, more staffing demands, and more delays for everyone, not just for I-751 but for all immigration services. Unequal burden. Lower-income couples, immigrants from countries with weak documentation, or those facing domestic abuse are particularly vulnerable under stricter enforcement and evidence demands. Uncertainty and life disruption. People put life plans on hold, work, education, travel, family decisions, all affected by the unpredictability of when, and if, their permanent status is secured. To conclude, the removal of conditions process is not just a formality, it's a critical juncture in the life of many immigrants. In 2025, this stage is under far more pressure, filings have doubled, USCIS scrutiny is stronger, processing is slower, and the margin for error is slimmer. For couples navigating this, preparation, thorough documentation, legal awareness, and timely action are not optional, they're essential. Travel Tree News reminds you, don't leave your fate to chance. Know the rules, keep records, and act ahead. Your future in the U.S. may depend on it.